Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we will dive headfirst into the many secrets of this game. It's a little different, I know, a deep dive into the secrets, mysteries, and untold lore of Honkai Impact 3rd. You've heard of Genshin and Star Rail, but this gem? It's packed with more hidden layers than you could even imagine. We're talking 8 years of obscure references, forgotten characters, and lore so deep it makes use of quantum mechanics. This is Honkai Impact 3rd Iceberg, an exploration of everything you never knew you needed to know about Hoyoverse's most underappreciated masterpiece. So, grab yourself a snack, buckle up, and let's plunge into the frozen depths of Honkai's most hidden truths. Alright, here's how we're going to break it down. This iceberg isn't just any iceberg. It's based around the Honkai Impact 3rd's very own cosmology. We're starting at the very top with the leaves of the imaginary tree. We will cover surface level trivia and facts that most players might already know. Then we'll climb down to the branches of the tree where things get a little bit more interesting, like hidden Easter eggs, lesser known lore, and a few other tidbits. Next, we're going underground to the roots of the tree, where the stories and secrets start to get darker, weirder, and a little bit less known. Finally, we'll plunge into the depths of the Sea of Quanta, the very bottom of the iceberg where we'll find some facts and things that even long-time players might not even know. Each layer will get progressively more obscure, so stick around to the end because you're not going to want to miss what's lurking in the abyss. Alright, enough setup, let's dive in. First, we have characters versus battlesuits versus skins. This is a very common misconception by anyone who hasn't played the game and only knows about it from trailers or online fanarts. For me, I mostly saw this confusion in reaction videos, so I thought I'd bring it up and clarify it here. In Honkai Impact, the characters have multiple versions that you can pull in the gacha. Those are called battlesuits, and for all intents and purposes, they are basically the same person using different powers. It is easy to tell because if you look at the character select menu, you can see the character name in the top left, with the battlesuit name below it. For example, this character is called AMIRIGHT. The specific battlesuit of this character is called Hersher of Thunder. This is also AMIRIGHT, but this specific battlesuit is called Hersher of Origin. As for the skins, they are simply outfits that you can put on battlesuits for aesthetic purposes and serve no other purpose, and change nothing about the actual gameplay. They generally are very easy to identify if you know the original battlesuit they are made for. Right after that, we have battlesuit name abbreviations. This one is very easy, but people who don't play the game or do in fact play without interacting with the community will still not know what it means. Battlesuit name abbreviations are simple words created by the community to easily refer to each battlesuit specifically. For example, HOV refers to the Hersher of the Void battlesuit. SP refers to Swallowtail Phantasm. HORB refers to the Hersher of Rebirth, etc, etc. I still remember browsing through online groups back in 2019 when I was just starting playing the game and seeing people talking in words I didn't quite understand. So if you're in that situation and seeing those weird 3-letter words or 4-letter words, here you go, you're welcome. Next, we have the Captainverse, which is a series of events which takes place in an alternative universe, or more accurately, multiple alternative universes to the main story. These universes gave us many alternative versions of main story characters, such as Fallen Rose Margarita, Kongming Teresa, Brony, and Delta. These events are no longer playable, and there is scarcely any footage left over from the few first parts. However, there is luckily a fan-made playlist on the Hoyostans website which has everything recorded in order for those interested. Link in the description. Up ahead, we've got the Honkai Impact manga and animes. Yes, this game has manga and anime. They are free to read and watch on the manga website and YouTube channel respectively. Most, if not all the manga is actually canon to the game, and is directly referenced multiple times throughout the main story. There are 3 anime series, 4 if you count this singular episode as its own separate title: Cooking with Valkyries, Elf Academy, and Golden Courtyard, all of which are light-hearted, mostly comedic relief where the characters just get together and chill. Lastly, on this level of the iceberg, we got a few catchwords that the Honkai community seems to love to spam in every chat and every comment section. Let's go over a few of them, shall we? Yatta originates from the Herrscher of Sentience character, doing this after using her chainsword's charge attack. Tei comes from the Teresa Apocalypse's combat lines and victory pose, which she proclaims to be the world's #1 cutie and refers to her idol career. Dudu is the community's shortening of the Valkyrie Durandal's name, which eventually turned the Chiksaw's strongest S-rank Valkyrie into a duck. Alright, that wraps up the leaves of the imaginary tree, the easy to spot fact that even casual players might recognize. But now it's time to dig a little bit deeper. We're leaving behind the canopy and descending into the branches of the tree, where things start to get a little bit more interesting. First on this level, we have Veliona. Veliona is the community-given name to Sele Voleri's Stigmata personality. It originated from the in-game naming of a skill unique to Sele's battlesuit, Stygian Nymph, which refers to the original Sele as Sol and the alter ego as Veliona. Of course, now we know that this naming is non-canon, as both characters are explicitly referred to as Sele interchangeably, with the community slowly adapting to that by calling the alter ego Red Sele instead. Next, we have APHO. APHO is an abbreviation of the game mode A Post-Honkai Odyssey, an open-world side story which is set in the aftermath of the game's main story. There are currently 2 parts of APHO, with the community waiting very patiently for a 3rd installment. Up ahead, we have the cosmology of the Hoyoverse. This is pretty complicated, but I'll try my best to explain it in simple terms. In the greater scheme of things, the multiverse created by Hoyoverse is split into 2 major locations: the Sea of Quanta and the Imaginary Tree. These 2 metaphysical locations both house an unlimited amount of universes and are in a constant state of trying to consume each other. The tree trying to absorb the sea, and the sea trying to drown the tree. As a result, sometimes bubble universes that are on the tree can fall off and be assimilated into the Sea of Quanta, and vice versa. Bubble universes that exist within the Sea of Quanta can be absorbed by the tree, becoming anchored to it. This applies to practically every Hoyoverse game, as they all take place within the same large cosmos. Next up, we have the previous era, the Moths and the Mantis, and the Flame Chasers too. All of these are related, so I'll explain them in one go. The Earth in the Honkai Impact universe is locked into a time loop of sorts, as many of you might already know. The destructiveness of the Honkai constantly trying to wipe out humanity caused many civilizations to rise and fall. The last one we know of is simply referred to as the Previous Era, or PE for short. The Previous Era is a time period where a lot of important characters in the Honkai Impact story were born and some very vital events took place. The Moths are a military organization which rose in the Previous Era to fight the Honkai. They are basically the anti-entropy or world serpent of that time. They fought tooth and nail against countless Herrschers, and under the brilliant guidance of very intelligent people such as Dr. May and Dr. Mobius, were able to withstand the destruction despite the heavy casualties, at least until the final Herrscher descended. Their strongest soldiers were the ones who underwent the Mantis surgery, an operation that is deemed lethal and has a very low chance of success due to its fusing their very DNA with that of a powerful Honkai beasts, turning them into what are practically super soldiers with immense and diverse powers. these superhumans gathered under the name of the 13 Flame Chasers and became the most powerful force of the previous era for humanity. That was it for this level of the Iceberg. Let us hop in deeper. From the intricate, countless timelines that are the tree's branches, we descend towards the roots of what is imaginary, making contact with the Sea of Quanta. Here lies forgotten characters, old theories which came true and others which didn't, so let's see what this has to offer, shall we? Green Sele.
この偽善者ども、あなたたちが憎い、すべてが憎い。みんなまとめてぶっ殺してやりたいほど憎い。
Oh god, Mihoyo, I will still never forgive you for what you did to Wendy in this game. She's the first living Herrscher that we fight in the main story, one whose awakening is cut short by Kokolia's interference, who then kidnaps her and Mei. She then proceeds to kill Wendy to get her core, just to power up some terrible mech that we dismantle easily. How do I even start with how terrible of a story arc that is? Like, Kokolia in Honkai Impact is actually a good person. She's not inherently bad. She's very protective of the children in her orphanage, despite the experiments. She doesn't wish to directly harm anyone. She even sounds horrified when Bronya reveals that she would hurt herself, burning her brain chip in order to disobey her commands. Which is why her randomly showing up, mind-controlling Bronya into knocking out Mei and grabbing Wendy, then killing Wendy in cold blood, never sat well with me. But that is a discussion for another time. Fun fact, Venti is actually a Wendy XP in Genshin Impact. This is more visible in his Archon War outfit, looking very similar to Wendy's Herrscher form. Anyways, Wendy is referred to jokingly by the community as Green Sele, because she kinda looks like Sele with a green tint of her hair instead of the usual blue/red. That's it, that's the joke. Why is this even here? Next up, we have Project Stigma and the concept of idea. And this one is a bit of a mouthful, so bear with me here. Project Stigma is one of the most complicated concepts of Honkai Impact 3rd. Many people still don't understand what it truly entails. It was first designed by Dr. Mobius in the previous era, but that first version of the project had way too many flaws to be considered a valid option. The current and real Project Stigma that was put into action by Kevin Kaslana and his organization is a more refined version that is still just as bad, but less cruel. What it does is put the entire human race to sleep, then merge their dreaming consciousness into a singular being whom they nickname Spiritual Adam. This being is the pinnacle of humanity, and using it, new imaginary concepts and ideas could eventually be born as persons of their own, becoming the new and improved human race that could coexist with the Honkai without it constantly trying to destroy it. Yes, that does mean that all of the flesh and blood individual humans will no longer exist, but that is a price World Serpent is willing to pay. If you want a more in-detail explanation of this entry, feel free to check out Homulab's video about Project Sigma. Now we reach the deepest parts of this dive, leaving the tree behind and sinking deep below the Sea of Quanta. where we discover things which even seasoned players might have no idea even exist. The battlesuits in Honkai Impact 3rd are rich with pop culture references, and I think it's obvious that the dodge mechanic, for example, called Time Fracture in Honkai Impact, was inspired by Bayonetta's Wicked Weaves and Witch Time, and that some of Mei and Sakura's techniques draw from Devil May Cry's Virgil's movesets, with moves like the Yamato C combo and the AI Jutsu. But did you know that Kiana's Hersher Flame Scion and Durandal's Palatinus Equinox battlesuits incorporate Dante's moves, such as High Time / Helmbreaker and Royal Guard Style? Some Valkyrie's skill names reference other media, like Lightning Impress's Dragon May Cry, which is an obvious reference to Devil May Cry, and Dimension Breaker's Metal Gear, which is obviously the reference to the game series of Metal Gear. Kiana's Hersher of the Void battlesuits features a move that summons portals and rains down energy, reminiscent of Gilgamesh's iconic Gates of Babylon, but I think any Fates fan who plays Honkai Impact can see that one. So, how about this very obscure detail? Yei Sakura's battlesuit, Go Shinso Momento, has some very hard to read words written on its shirts. On the mobile port of the game, these are practically illegible, but on the PC version we can see that those words are actually the iconic poem commonly associated with the Hellsing franchise. The bird of Hermes is my name, eating my wings to keep me tame. I'll be real with you, this one got me fascinated at how many things I don't know about this game despite playing it for 6 years now. Moving on, this enemy in APHO looks very similar to a boss in Nier Automata. I always thought those things looked familiar, but now I know why. This one is so obscure I bet 90% of players never even cleared this stage, let alone have noticed this little reference. In Hersher files, 10th floor, a message pops up saying, "Enemy power level over 9000 detected, prepare for battle," which is a clear reference to the Vegeta line from Dragon Ball.
It's over 9,000! What, 9,000?
Finally, and to end on something funny and is also slightly menacing, we have a JoJo reference. There are so many more small things to uncover about this game, and I might make a follow-up video sometime soon, but for now, this was Imaginary Watcher, and I'll see you guys around. Subscribe!
二人は後ろを振り返ることなく戦場に向かった。この最初から悲劇だと決まっていた物語では誰もそのことに迷ったり動揺したりしていなかった。彼らがそうあったように僕たちもそうである。